legacy.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ladies First Radio. I am your host, Danaya Azure, and our first guest, our featured guest tonight, is an incredible woman. I met her this year at Tina Sloan's Soul Train Impact event. Now, I've heard about people in broadcasting. I've talked to women that have been in television. I have not talked to anyone this dynamic, this down to earth, this phenomenal in a very, very long time. She's so humble. I love her to death. Ericka she owns Chicks That Pitch, which is such an amazing company that's about women that are in television production and pitching their TV shows and movies to people across the world. So she's going to talk to us about her companies and everything, all the types of things she does, on top of the do's and don'ts of what to ask somebody that's in television production. Because everybody talk about they want to be in TV, they want to be in radio, but they have no idea what it takes to get there. And they always think, I can do this, I can do that. Yeah, you can, but you still have to have structure when you do it. Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that you are going to be able to do that and have that success. So she's going to talk to us about what are the best things, what questions do you ask someone if they're in television production, and to make sure that you actually get seen, and so they actually talk to you, as opposed to tossing your email in the junk box or throwing away that resume. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce this amazing queen, Miss Ericka. How are you, Miss Lady?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing tonight?
I am blessed. We are excited to have you on Ladies First Radio. My goodness. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you've done.
Okay. Well, I'll do my best to make this long story short. I am a television. I'm a television producer by trade. I've been in the television industry for 21 years. Praise the Lord. It's a blessing. I've had my ups and downs, but I've had more ups than anything, and so I started. My undergrad is in electronic media from the University of Cincinnati, and I have an MBA from Xavier University, and so I am an entrepreneur who works in the television and film and now digital distribution platforms. I've also I started my first company, Edit Talent Group, back in 2003 in Cincinnati, Ohio, and what we do is we actually crew media productions, whether it's television productions, film productions. We also do corporate productions. A number of the productions or shows that I've worked with include, Chicago PD, Fire, Chicago Empire. I've also, these are recent projects. I've also, with Black Ink Crew, which is through Big Fish Entertainment, and I've also I work with a number of major corporations like McDonald's is one of my clients. I've worked on tons of Food Network shows. So I started my career in the food for Food Network. I've provided crew for shows that have been on Bravo and Oxygen and MTV and VH1 and you name it. I've been really blessed to be able to do that. Back in 2003, December 2003, that'll be 3 years here in a few weeks. I started. I had this vision for another company. Me and my producer mode and knowing a lot of people, and connecting with a lot of different types of individuals and talent. And after providing my services or giving my services, those services away for free to these shows that have been picked up, I decided to start a company. where we actually help people to develop and distribute their television show ideas, their original content ideas, called Chicks That Pitch. So we are a team of women who are professionals in the television film industry, and we will work with people that may have a mainstream idea and need to develop, but the product has to be viable. And in that development, then we also help to distribute those ideas to the television networks, production companies, and also digital distribution outlets. And that's just one of the services, dual services that we provide for Chicks That Pitch, because we also work with talent. We've recently implemented a new phase into our business because I've been working with talent for 15 years myself. So we began to, in the last couple of years, book what we call real people talent. So if you're a regular person that wants to be on TV, or if you want to model, if you got a story to tell and you're not afraid to get in front of the camera, we help you get picked up on daytime talk shows. So, we've had some successes with that. One of the shows that we work with is Steve Harvey Show. They're in their last season here in Chicago, but we're excited about the
next
that they're making right now. Yeah, they are. This is it for the Steve Harvey Show. They finished taping in May in Chicago, and then they're going to start. Steve Harvey has built a collaboration, which is very important, with other folks, his company and network and another company. And so they're starting a new show, and it's going to be based out of L.A. Yeah, it's going to be based out of L.A. But
that's awesome.
Nothing else. It improves. It actually broadens the scope for what we're doing, and so I'm very excited, because I can work from anywhere. In a sense, and so we're very excited about the direction of that. But those are just my companies. There's a lot that I do, and on top of my mentorship, where I work with youth media organizations to help strengthen and encourage and help to train and develop young folks that aspire to work in the television industry. And I also do television ministry, on top of being in television ministry since 2001. I also help television ministries to expand, on their ideas, and help to develop and train crew. So I'm a busy woman.
Yes,
who's also
she is a
mom.
very, very busy woman.
Single mom.
That's why I'm like,
yes.
I'm like, so are you shaking your? I'm like, are you gonna have time to do this interview?
Yes, I make time. I said that I get my rest when I sleep, and so when that is, it's limited hours, but we make it happen. I said on average I work about on average about 80 to 85 hours a week. And I have very long days. Like, for example, today was a very long day, and we're surely not over, because when I get off of this interview, I have work to do, because I'm still on West Coast time. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're something.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 8-7. It's only 8-7 there. You're good.
Yeah, I'm totally good.
Right,
I'm totally
early.
good.
It's early on the West Coast time. It's early over there.
Yeah. I don't anticipate on going to bed until 3 or 4 o'clock this morning, and then I'll be back up at 8.
Goodness.
Wow.
And
but I've got stuff to do. We've got a lot of opportunities and projects that are just brewing, and my phones do not stop ringing at all. And so it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to do what you love to do, something that you're passionate about, and at the same time you're changing lives. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
And that's what's the most important, is that you're changing lives. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of forget. That's the biggest thing about what you're doing, is you are taking your love for what you do, and you are actually putting people in a position where they're able to flourish and express themselves and show people their talent that wouldn't necessarily be able to see it.
Yes, exactly. And, I came up in an era where, being a minority woman, being a minority and, African-American woman, so I'm being a minority on a number of ends, in a sense,
right.
And not really being viewed or respected, in my space. So I found a platform, and then at the same time, I was also blessed with a number of mentors between my instructors and deans, and I have a wonderful a couple of mentors that we're still to this day they're close friends of mine, and we bounce off of each other. And but if it honestly, if it wasn't for God and them encouraging me and helping me build and create opportunities, I wouldn't be here today. So I'm all about paying it forward and giving it back, and so it's my mission. It is. It's truly my mission, and I count it an honor to be able to do so. So, yes.
Definitely. The one thing that I really respect about you, I caught one of your lives, and I was just like, she's giving so much game to y'all live for free. Y'all better be taking notes. But the biggest thing about it was the fact that I see that you came up like you didn't start like this. So I think for people that that are entrepreneurs, women that want to be entrepreneurs, what gave you the drive to push on? Because you didn't come over the silver spoon. You had to work for every single thing that you have. So what really gave you the drive to push on the way that you did?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. As many people that are on my social media pages, I've just recently, in the last couple of years, have gotten the courage to be transparent about not just about what I do, but who I am, so that people can understand that, we all go through things. So I do also spend my days and nights motivating and inspiring others. But I was born and raised in Jacob Price Homes, which is a project in Covington, Kentucky. And I was raised in Covington, Kentucky, but I raised in the projects of Covington, Kentucky. And so I experienced what most people do that live in low-income housing, between, poverty and abuse and, violence and, the typical drugs and all the things that I was exposed to, all the things that, the average person, unfortunately, has to deal with in low-income housing. And so all I knew is that I wanted more. I wanted more than my current existence. And I didn't really understand that it wasn't just about me at that time. I can remember being a little girl and just watching the Flintstones on our little black and white television. I would take this orange crayon and I would trace Fred's outfit right across the screen. I'm like, I know.
She just said I was watching the Flintstones and I traced Fred's outfit on the screen.
I'm telling you.
Now you was made for fashion, baby. You know.
Yes. I was like, okay, I know that his outfit, I know it's supposed to be orange.
Oh my God, I love it.
So but as I progressed and and grew, started growing up as a young child, and my personal story is extremely long. It's a book times 10, and a movie times 2. But as I grew and evolved, I learned what I was actually interested in. I began to learn my gifts and talents, and I was partially influenced at the age of 15. I found out I was pregnant, and so I was. I remember that one night after telling my mother, just trying to figure out, okay, what's next? What do I do next? Because now it's no longer just about me. And so I next day came, I got home, 4 o'clock, Oprah show was on. Oprah's her girl, and she was talking about how it's important that you write your goals, right? You put what you desire in plain sight. And so I wrote a list of goals at the age of 15, and didn't really. That was my first article, and I still have that sheet to this day. That little, it's a little 5x7. It was on a legal pad, and so I wrote my first list of goals. It was only 8 goals, and in those goals, I focused on my personal self and my career. And on that list, I knew that I wanted to own a production company. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but I knew what I wanted. Didn't know what was required of it, but I knew that I wanted to tell stories. Years down the line, to being a senior in high school, and I was president of my senior class, and I had been accepted to a number of schools, but the thing was is that I had a daughter. I couldn't go to any other. I couldn't go to Spelman. I couldn't go to LSU. I couldn't go to schools that were taking me away from home. So I stayed locally. They didn't have a program television program when I started, nor did they when I applied and I was accepted. But they offered me scholarships. So I majored in pre-law. I said, okay, I'm really good. I know that I can do that. And second year in, at the end of the first year, I was really bored, and I went to my counselor, and my counselor said, well, we just started an electronic media program. It's for radio, television. Radio, TV, and film program. And so I said, okay, I think we're back where I need to be. But they actually had me take this career test, just so that I could see it for myself. And sure enough, all the things, everything aligned to the arts and entertainment industry. So in my early 20s, I'm now pursuing television, and I began to. I got my first job back in 1997 at Sinclair Broadcasting Group, which was that local station would have been the WB64, but everybody knows it now as CW. So I was in school and working at a television station, raising a family, but I knew that I wanted more than my current existence, and so I just kept pushing, and I've experienced the ups and downs, and that a lot of people do, and then some, but it's my tenacity. I was born with it. And, not everybody's born with tenacity. However, we are all born with passion. And so that's why I try to push people to tap into that passion. And so, because I can do stuff I can self-motivate, Even when in my most difficult times, I can motivate myself. But not everybody can do that. So, I spend my days also encouraging that. So, yeah, but it's a very concentrated story, to say the least. There's a lot more to it, but like I said, it all boils down to tenacity and passion, staying focused, and and realizing that it's no longer about me. I had that first realization when I was 15 years old, and my daughter taught me what it's like to love and to give to others. My first daughter, so it's been a blessing. Yeah.
That's what's up. That is definitely what's up. I think, one thing that you said that was really important was that you said you can't teach tenacity, but you can teach passion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people kind of forget. You have to have, in order to be successful in anything, you have to be passionate about it. Otherwise, you're not going to want to do it, and you're not going to care. You're just like,
we're all born
whatever.
with passion. Yes, yeah. We're all born with passion, and we're all born with a mission. Every last one of us. And the only way that we can not just tap into success, but to fulfill our overall destiny, the only way we can do it is by understanding our mission and our purpose in life. And then to be able to understand that, be on that road, and be passionate about what you're doing and make money, girl, please. Child, yes.
Right, that's the goal, right? To make money and feel passion. That is always got to be the goal.
Exactly. Yes. yes.
I love the fact that you're so real about it. You're like, what are you talking about? Who doesn't want to make money at their fashion? What's wrong with you?
Right.
Who wants to be stuck in a dead-end job for 30, 40 years and wonder what if? Nobody wants to have that.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have that problem because they were told that this is what you're supposed to do. This is what the right thing is supposed to be. And this is the only way that you're going to be able to succeed is by going step, as opposed to saying, okay, well, this is what you want to do. You have the talent. What can we do to help you to grow that talent? What can we do to help you to build that talent? What can we do to help you so that when you get that money, you'll know how to spend it and not be broke after 5 years in the game?
Absolutely. You know, and we're all, the one thing I've learned is that, and nothing's changed since the age of 15. I write my goals every year. I don't do what do they call that at the beginning of the year. I don't set up resolutions. I don't do resolutions. I set goals, and I set them goals with the idea of accomplishing those goals, and and I teach people, and I encourage people to do it. If you create a long list and a short list, things that is going to take you some time, and things that that you can accomplish within a certain time period, and and you just keep working off of that, And I'm gonna tell you for real, like those rough times. And this is, and we talk about this all the time. Multiple streams of income are necessary when you're trying to take care of yourself and you have a family, So I worked at the post office. I was a casual mail carrier while I was in school, and while I was also working in television. I was a casual mail carrier. I worked at Walgreens. I had a second career in cosmetics, and I was a makeup artist. And I was a celebrity makeup artist as a second career.
You've done everything.
I worked
literally
all these, everything. I did all these extra jobs to make stuff happen, and but I know I understood what my end goal is, and I just have to stay on that path. So and but thank God thank God I've got 2.5 companies now, and and everything that I'm building and growing from is coming from these here things in my experience. So I'm sticking, I'm head all in and heels all in to TV and film and digital. So
that's what's up. Yeah. She said she got 2.5 companies. That means she has 2 successful companies, and she's building another one. So I hope that when she launches that company, she will come back on Ladies First Radio and talk about that company and showcase it here first, so people can be like, what? We gave it to y'all first. Did nobody else get it first? We got it first because we
Right. Exactly.
Definitely. So the one thing I definitely want you to talk about tonight is, what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to approaching someone like yourself? Because I know for a fact, being in radio, I do promotions, people do not understand that just sending somebody a link is not how you get your music out there. Just sending somebody a link is not how you get your video viewed. Just sending somebody a link with no message is not how you get them to reach back to you. So what is the proper way to for someone to introduce themselves? What's the proper way for someone to say, hey, I'm looking to work with you? What are the do's? What are the do's and don'ts of working with someone like you?
Oh gosh. Okay, so that's a laundry list. However, when a person comes to me and they say, hey, they want to work with us when it comes to Chicks to Pitch, and their talent, like, you've got to have some foundation, and I'm saying some foundation on the internet. Okay, so we need to be able to find you. You need to have social media pages. I have this conversation with talent all of the time. They say, I want to be on TV. Okay, what's your social media pages? What's your YouTube page? I don't have one.
What?
I want to act. Yes, I don't have one.
No.
I'm like, you don't have what? What do you mean? Like,
oh my God. That's the basic. She's not even asking for like 20,000 followers. She's just saying have a page. What do you mean you have a page? You want to act? Okay. Go ahead, Lord.
It is the broadest.
I kind of fainted.
The broadest, and it's the broadest platform, and it's free to market yourself. So
exactly.
I know that's one. I know, and it's really interesting because when you're dealing with original content, and we're working directly with the major production companies and the networks. The one thing that they want to know is that, okay, what's this person look like? What's this person doing? And what kind of work have they done? And so we have to have social media pages, and we have to have some traction. So that's the first thing. Like, come to us with some content on yourself or your product.
Right.
Now, when I say content for product, the thing is, you can come to us with an idea that's just written out. You don't have to have it shot. You don't have to have all that, because we help to develop that. But it has to be viable. So that's the first thing. Second thing that is really interesting is that if you've got their attention and you've got their information, use it. There's people that, say, can we meet? Can we meet up? Can we talk? Can we have lunch? Can we have coffee? Okay. Just why don't you send an email and say, I'm really interested in working with you. And, and understand and respect the fact that we're super, super, super busy. And not, and be prepared. Just be prepared. A lot of people say, when they say, well, what makes you talent? And they're just like, because I'm funny, or because, I do philanthropy, or, whatever the situation is. But, just be ready. A lot of people come to us not ready, and so it's important that you have that. The pushover, that's another one. You meet me for the first time, and you meet me in person for the first time, okay? I give you my card, and then you end up in another city somewhere, and you send me emails requesting that I connect you with somebody. No.
What? Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. Pull back.
You heard it. You heard it.
Oh, wait. I'm just trying to make sure that I heard it right.
Yeah.
You meet someone. You give them your card. They go to another city, and instead of have not talked to you, have not messaged you, have not connected with you beyond that first meeting, right? Mm-hmm. But have the audacity to say, can you connect me with someone else in another city, even though I don't know you? Oh my God, I can't even.
Yeah, can you link me up with the I'm out in LA or I'm in New York. Can you link me up with the producers over at such and such? Can you link me up with the producers over at such and such? No.
I can't even believe people are that bold. Like I mean, at least at this point, somebody should have had a conversation with you. Like, how in the world? What gives people the right to think that makes sense? That is so. Yeah. They just violated every kind of rule when it comes to connections. Like, I can't even believe this is crazy. Lord.
Yes, it's
what
real.
What you be dealing with?
It's real.
I know you must have libations occasionally.
I have to. I'm telling you because like it's an interesting space, and I'm telling you, we could write a book on just this space alone.
Yes, you could.
It's really interesting. We're actually talking about doing some video blogs. Here where we're going to do do's and don'ts. Yes, because it's like, okay, y'all, like, really? Yeah, no. When and the thing is, okay, when you have a relationship, okay, so say that you have a relationship, here's another one. You have a relationship with us, okay? What we do takes time. Not only that, we work with a multitude of clients, okay, and we deal with prospects, okay, and, on top of the million of other things. However, we have a priority list. We have a team, okay, and if, we're already working with you and, you are putting in these demands when we're actually in control of the project, that's a no-no. because I'll be the first one, to sever agreement,
Wow.
and suffer and then we suffer the loss. But, it's complete disrespectful, for the people that, you are working with that have the relationships that are creating the opportunities for you to step on their toes. It's always about you don't bite the hand that feeds you. You just don't do it. What we do is not only do we develop and we help develop and distribute, but and consult, but we educate. We teach you the process. And a lot of this stuff is not overnight. I've seen projects go through, it takes 45 days. We've got projects that have been looked at for, it's been going in the trenches for 2 years. I've seen projects take 10 years. There was the Get Down. That took 10 years before they before it was picked up. Yeah. So it's you just be patient. I've had to learn patience because I'm not a patient person either. But you have to be patient and just go with the flow if you are really interested in being in working in this business. Network. Networking is big. Yeah. If there's an opportunity where you can go and you don't have to pay, look at those opportunities first, really. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to find somebody that's going to be there. But in your networking, make sure that you take your business information or your contact information, and you be prepared to exchange that information. The one thing I've learned about being here in Chicago is that this is a networking town. So you have to network. It really is about who you know. And so, it's I do tons of speaking engagements and workshops and things of that nature. You're interested and you have some questions and you cannot reach me via email, what have you. Come to an event. Find out, the information that you are looking for at that event is going to be at that event. If it's related to what you're doing, because we do pitch workshops, everything. So, another don't is don't hunt someone down on their personal social media page. Don't do it. Don't inbox them and tell them that you want to work with them on their personal page. Find their professional pages. Locate their emails. These days, it's easy to get folks' emails, to be honest with you. It may take a little research, but you can get people's emails. And so I get sometimes I go in on my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, because I do have a lot of people. It's a huge overlap on my first Facebook page. I have 16 Facebook pages. So, but I have
16. My Lord.
Yeah, I do. So, and my personal, that's the oldest one. Yeah, I get a lot of people that inbox me, post in the middle of personal posts. Can we work together? Stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, y'all, this is, but it's comedic, but at the same time, it just shows us how unprofessional you are, and, because we are very selective, because we want to make sure that the relationships that we're developing, the opportunities that we're developing for the people that we picked up, that they're fluid and that there's some that we're on the same page, So
right.
we have to be selective. So those are just a few.
And I think that was just a few, but she just spit some serious game. And for everybody that's wondering, yes, this is available for download. Y'all better download this. I'm just saying, y'all better download this because she's giving you some game. She's giving you some serious game. And I think what she says, what makes a lot of sense, is use those business pages to do business. I've had people approach me on my business page on personal stuff, and I'm like, you do realize my personal page is the other one, right? This is not the time to talk to me regular stuff on this page. I only go here if it's for business. There's no reason for we to have a personal conversation on my business page. It makes no sense to me. So, so I think that's very, very...
Don't inbox me personally on my business page. Don't do it. Yeah.
Right. It's no. It's if you're not talking about buying something, I don't want to talk to you on this page. You better go to the personal, otherwise I don't care.
Yeah.
Period, point blank.
Yeah, and it's less because I do on my personal page. If I call for it, where I will post our casting calls from our page. If I call for people to inbox me or something, or tag somebody, hey, go for it. But I'm not going to answer you if you're like, if you have questions and you want to do this. Unless it's somebody that I know that you've been referred or connected. It's just too much out of hand, completely out of hand. Not to mention the issues that we have with us women, what we have with our inboxes to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a whole other show. Mm-hmm. So it's just mine is like my inbox is Grand Central Station.
Right? I can imagine the things you get in your inbox. Because she's gorgeous, by the way, in case y'all didn't see the picture. She's gorgeous. Yeah, I know she gets some great stuff in her inbox. But let's see. Let me see if my artist in the line. Yeah. She might have her phone on mute. But yeah, we're gonna have her playing their song a little bit. But yeah, let everybody get your social media real quick so we can know where to find you.
Shoot, I was on mute. My bad. Hello.
Okay, I was making sure. I was like, this girl on mute. Yeah, go ahead and say hi to the lovely Ericka Porter.
Hi. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you.
Good.
This is the artist that I work with. We're actually going to be her songs tonight.
What happened?
Were you asking about my social?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. She tells everybody where they can reach you at, and and the proper way to reach you. She just told you don't put it on a personal. So go ahead and tell them where they can reach you at if they want to do business. I'm just saying.
Okay, so we'll say Chicks. We'll start with Chicks That Pitch. Chicks That Pitch. You can go to our website at chicksthatpitch.com. We also have a Chicks That Pitch Facebook and Instagram and Twitter pages. And then for Edit Talent Group, that's our media production staffing agency, you can go to edittalentgroup.com. We also have an Edit Talent Group Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter page. And then if you'd like to email us, you can email chicksthatpitch at chicksthatpitch@gmail.com. But if there's anything that's related to media production staffing, consulting for the business in respect to television and film, digital distribution, they can email me at eMauldin, that's MAULDIN, @edittalentgroup.com.
Awesome sauce, yeah. I'm sure, if y'all didn't catch that, y'all better go ahead and replay that. I'm just saying. Because she just told you where to find her so that you actually respond to you. Because you said don't hit her on the personal. I'm saying it now. Don't hit on the personal on the business. I'm just saying. So, but what we're going to do is we're actually going to go, to this song real quick and then come back. And we got more shows. So if you're able to stick around, Mercedes, please do, because it's going to be epic. Because we're talking about how do we build as women after this election. Lord have mercy. Whew. We got a couple more people that are doing the Promote Your Biz segments coming up right after this song. Let me go ahead and have my artist introduce her song. All right, babe. Thank you, Mama. Love you.
Next Legacy.